Hello everyone, it is me, it is Hi, I am Ivy, also known as the Geek Goddess here on YouTube, and today I have a little reading vlog for you guys. Every genre, like literally every genre, I could be like, yes, I like this genre, no, I don't like that genre, but the one genre that no matter how many times I read it, I'm like, I don't know if I like this, it's dark romance. So I decided that I'm going to put some dark romance genre books, some of the most popular dark romances out there right now, to the test to determine whether or not dark romance is for me. Now, just so you guys know, this isn't going to be the only episode where I do this. I really want to test out the different tropes within dark romance to find out what particular taste in dark romance I have. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the 4 books that I have that I'm putting to the test for this video is, number 1 is going to be There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. This is a really, Sophie Lark is a very popular dark romance author. I've been wanting to give her a try for quite a while, and in this one we are following our main character. What is her name? We're following Cole and we're following Mara, and Mara is a nobody and Cole is like this super rich person, but I guess underneath it he's like he's a predator and the city is his hunting ground. Not a predator as in like, you know, a predator, but a predator as in like he's a serial unaliver, I believe. So it's a serial unaliver romance, which is what makes it a dark romance, I'm assuming. So we're gonna be giving this one a shot, and it's very tiny. It's only like 200 something pages, so I feel like we can get this one pretty quickly. God, where are my words? Next is Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. I've owned this one for a while, okay? And I've been wanting to read it for a while. I've only read one other book by Penelope Douglas, and I actually really enjoyed it. It was called Punk 57, which I think is also considered a dark romance. That book, for some reason, I loved that book so much. So I wanted to give this one a shot. And this one, I believe, is also a serial unaliver romance, or the guy is like, I don't know, he does bad things and the girl's like, oh my gosh, give me, I'm so innocent, you know what I mean? And like he's like corrupting her, which is why it's called, hence why it's called Corrupt. So that's all I know about this one. So very intrigued about that one. And then the next two, one is going to be Electric Idol by Katie Robert. This is the second book in the Dark Olympus series, because I read Neon Gods in 2022 and I actually really loved that book. Like it was actually one of my top books of 2022, and it happened to be a dark romance. So I was like, okay, let's give the second one a shot. I know Katie Robert is very, very famous for her dark romance novels. And so I was like, okay, let's continue with the series. And last but certainly not least is a new dark romance book that has tooketh the world by storm, and that is Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. This is about a trauma nurse, and she basically works too much, right? And so she has no time for romance, but then she decides that like she's gonna get, you know, her dose of romance by following accounts of masked men. And there's this one masked man in particular that really has her fancy. And so she ends up following him, and it turns out that he also likes her, and so he begins stalking her, and thus a romance ensues. I heard this one is very funny, laugh out loud funny, dark humor, so I'm really have high hopes for this one. So we're going to be giving these 4 books a shot to see if dark romance is our thing. If not, what we liked about each book, what tropes, with the takeaways with each one. And yes, so let's go ahead and get started with this reading vlog. Hello, I started this yesterday, and within one day, I haven't read it at all today, but within one day I got 153 pages into this book. Okay, I am on chapter 12, and this, okay, updates. First updates, right? Because the thing is, the point of this vlog is I don't know if I'm fully invested into the dark romance genre, because there has been dark romance that I'm like, oh, this is amazing, this is great, I love it. And then there's other dark romances that I'm like, do I even like this genre? Is this genre even for me? Is this too much? And reading this, I feel like it's a perfect balance. I don't know, I feel like it's a perfect dark romance for me to really truly test if I am invested in the genre or not, because we have our main character, right? And her name, I forgot what's her name, Allie. So Allie is a trauma nurse, and she literally works at like a hospital where you see the worst of the worst. You see gunshot wounds, you see people with their stomachs missing, you like literally see the worst of the worst, and not that many people can last that long in this ER. But Allie, she's, because of her past, which we don't know what happened to her in her past, she is so used to seeing like blood and stuff, and she has a lot of like trauma from her past that makes her, I guess, desensitized to a lot of this. But over the course of this, like she literally works like 16-hour shifts. She has no life. So she has come to the realization that she's probably not going to have any romance going for her. Like she just has the occasional hookups. And she jumps on the internet and she finds this masked guy, right? And I forgot what his name is, but she becomes like really obsessed with him to the point where she's like, she spent over 200 plus hours just watching this man's videos. Every time this man comes out with a new video, which he does like every Thursday or something like that, she's the first one on that. She's commenting, she is liking, she is saving those videos for later, if you know what I mean. And she's like, she realizes that she's really obsessed with this like masked man, and she has like a masked man kink, right? And so she ends up sending a photo of the masked man to like the guy that she was hooking up with, and then he's like, oh, we haven't hooked up in over a month, you haven't hit me up, I thought you ghosted me, so like I'm out, plus I'm not into this masked stuff, so I'm out. And so Allie's like, oh, okay, well, I guess there goes that. And then following, on the other hand, we are following Josh, and Josh is the masked man. Okay, and he also happens to be the roommate of the guy that Allie was hooking up with, and he really liked Allie when he saw her, when he met her. And so he decides that he's going to break into her house, put cameras everywhere, and then leave his mask there just to see how Allie would react, to see if she really truly has this like weird kink. And so we see Allie, and she sees the mask, and she realizes that she's being watched by this masked man, and she's like in this kind of limbo of like, do I like this? Do I hate this? And it's great. And you just like see, I don't know, like it has, like, yes, it's messed up because this guy is like literally spying on her, but at the same time, even though he spies on her, he's being really respectful. Like if she's doing certain things, like he gives her the privacy, and he's like, oh, I'm not gonna watch this, I'm not gonna, I'm giving her privacy. And so it's so weird because yes, he's a stalker, yes, he's a little crazy, yes, he's doing things that he probably should not be doing, but at the same time, he's so respectful that he's like, just tell me to stop and I'll stop. And Allie doesn't tell him to stop because she doesn't know if she likes it or she hates it. And so it's really interesting. It's really good. It's really good. So like, I think, like, I'm coming to the realization, right? And this, like, I already kind of knew this, but like, this is like really solidifying it for me, is I don't mind the stalker romance, the craziness, the like obsessiveness. I don't mind any of that as long as there's consent. Like that's, you know what I mean? Which to each their own, but that's for me. Tell me why I thought that I had made my final review for Lights Out, but I guess I didn't. So here I am with a final review for Lights Out. The first update that I gave you guys apparently was the only update that I gave you guys. I don't know why I thought I gave an update, but towards the end, I guess I just gave my fiance the rundown. But I was really enjoying the book up until the pacing of it got like really wonky, and I was like, okay, this is really weird, because there's a difference. I liked the story, I liked the romance, I liked the twist that happened with the couple that stays together. There is a reason why that's said. The thing was, the pacing of the romance, the pacing of the book went from fast paced to what the fudge is this real quick. It went from 0 to 100 real quick, a little too quickly. It felt so like there was no slow burn. It wasn't like a insta love, but at the same time it happened so fast, and I was like that I was like, okay, what the heck. It got to the point where like within 3 weeks of the relationship, he was already like finishing, you know, and like being like, maybe I should just get her preggers. 3 weeks, three weeks into the relationship, and then they're saying, I loves you, oh my god, it's been 3 weeks. And then something happens at the end, and they had only been together for like 6 months, and I'm like, what the actual... I'm sorry. I understand relationships are different. Relationships pace. But for you to almost like say that you're gonna, you know what I mean? Impregnate someone at 3 weeks? Are you effing kidding me, dude? I'm sorry. After all that all lost me. I thought the relationship was way too quick, and I was like, what the hell is this? This feels toxic AF. You don't even know this other person. After that, I was done. I finished it. But in the end, I gave it like 2.5 stars, because if it wasn't for that, if they paced it better and they didn't say all those things when they just got together, I would have been fine with it. But come on, don't say you're going to impregnate someone after 3 weeks. Don't be like, I love you, you're the love of my life after 3 weeks. No. That's a little too fast. So, 2.5 stars. Hi, how are we doing? How was your day? My day's good. I am reading this. I'm reading Electric Idol by Katie Robert, and I am now about halfway through. I am 149 pages in. So let me give you a little update on this book and how I'm feeling about it. So I already told you guys that I chose this book specifically because I really enjoyed Neon Gods, the first book, in 2022 when I read it. It's the first book to the series, and I loved it. I gave it a 5-star. It was one of my favorite reads of 2022. So it's been 3 years. And I have not reread the book, and I'm not lost. So I'm really enjoying this. I almost feel like you don't necessarily, you should read the first book, but are you going to be entirely lost if you don't read the first book? I don't think so, because it's been 3 years and I still know like what's going on. And in this one, we are following Eros and Psyche. So if you guys don't know, each of these, this is called the Dark Olympus series, and we follow different characters from Olympus. However, it's not a fantasy romance. They're not actual gods. They just are kind of like mobsters, and they like rule the city. And they all have different traits. Like if you're a Zeus, you run the city, right? Like you're like the ultimate mobster or whatever. And then you have the 13 underneath it that are supposed to be like powerful. So you have like your Aphrodite, you have your Hera, you have, you know what I mean? Your Theseus with Theseus? Whoever Zeus' son was. And then you have your Hades and Persephone that rule the Undercity. Now, this one, we are following Eros, which is Aphrodite's son, and we are following Psyche, which is Demeter's daughter in this one. I don't think in the original Greek mythology she's Demeter's daughter. No, she's not. but in this one she is. And we're following their love story. So basically what happens is that Aphrodite and Demeter have always had a rivalry between them. And eventually, like, Aphrodite sees, she sees the daughter Psyche, and she sees that Demeter is trying to hook up her daughter Psyche with, like the new Zeus. And she's like, no, that's not going to happen. And then so she calls Eros, her son, who basically does all the dirty work for her. So anybody that Aphrodite just wants unalived, he does all the dirty work. She's like, I don't like this woman. You need to unalive her. He goes to unalive her, and then he sees her. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, he, like, sees her. He sees how sweet she is. And he's like, I'm not going to do this. And so he's like, okay, I pose an alternative option to you, Miss Ma'am. How about you marry me instead? Because then now my mom can't touch you. And Psyche's like, okay, like, I don't want to die, so sure, yeah, I'll marry you. And so they end up getting married, and then we just see it takes off from there. And it's like a fake dating, but it's very, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's so good. It's not like an enemies to lovers slow burn. It's definitely very insta-lovey. And here's the thing. Before you're like, no, this is not for me, I don't like insta-love. I hate, as soon as insta-love starts, like, I even, like, DNF'd, like, a book that's, like, super popular. I think it's called, like, Bewitched. I forgot what it is. But it's, like, super popular because I thought it was too insta-lovey. I don't know what about this? I don't mind the insta-love because it doesn't feel entirely insta-lovey. You still see the feelings develop. And I love these two characters together. I love their banter. I absolutely love Eros. And I love Psyche's personality. And what I also love is that she's like a plus size girl. Like, she's not super skinny. She's not seen as like what you usually call attractive. She's a different kind of attractive. You know what I mean? Like, she's curvy. She's thick. And she's just... I love it. So I'm loving this. It's looking like a 4-star for me right now. 4.25. Hello, it is me again. I realized I also did not give a final review for Electric Idol by Katie Robert. The reason why I wanted to read this book specifically, I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's because I read Neon Gods and I was so obsessed. Like, that was a dark romance book that I'm like, yes, this is for me. I effing love this so much. Give me 15 of them right now. You know, like, it was so good. And so I wanted to read the second one, and I was a little iffy because I remember from the first book I wasn't a big fan of Eros, but shockingly, it was really good. It was really good. I actually really enjoyed it. And I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed the relationship between Eros and, what's her name? Psyche and Eros. I thought the relationship was done really well, and yes, it did feel a little insta-lovey at times, but for some reason it was done right. Like, it wasn't done in like a creepy way that like Lights Out did it. I don't know. I just felt like it was, the pacing was fast, but it wasn't like creepy. It didn't borderline creepy. Like, it made sense. It felt relevant. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to do this for no reason. It was like, oh, my mom is threatening to kill you. Let's keep you safe. And if we so happen to fall in love, then it happens. And of course, it happens. Like, I don't think that's a spoiler at all. So there's that, like that. So I ended up really enjoying the story. I liked the characters. I liked the dynamic between Psyche and Eros. I like that Psyche was just like a take no shiznit kind of gal. I liked how Eros Psyche really changed Eros. Like, Eros used to be a very nasty, horrible person who would do horrible things, and Psyche really changed him for the better, and you can see that character growth throughout the story. I felt like that was done very well. I like the found family aspect. I really enjoyed the story overall. I enjoyed returning back to Persephone and Hades, and even though they didn't really show up consistently, like at all, you barely saw them, I still thought it was really fun to finally see them after a couple years of me not having to see them. Even though it had been a while since I read the first book, I did not feel like confused. I kind of fell back in line with like the politics, the way that everything works, because it was, even if you read the first book, they sort of kind of repeat what's going on politically wise. They kind of give a brief little recap of what happened in the previous story. So even if you don't read the first book, or it's been a while since you read the first book, you don't have to read it back to back and still be caught up to speed with everything that happened. So I really enjoyed that aspect. So that one I ended up giving a 4.5 stars. So that was great. It was a good book, and that one's a yes for me. I don't know what it was about. Maybe I just like Katie Roberts' writing. I don't know. I liked it. Hello you guys, I am here with my very first update on Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. So I am now on chapter 6, so I am 85 pages into this book. And honestly, it started off like good, okay? Like it started off good. And then now I'm just slightly confused to what exactly is going on. So we are following our main character, Erica, but I think the guy calls her Rika. And so basically Erica has been with her boyfriend Trevor or whatever, and then they end up splitting up. And Erica goes to school or something. She gets some sort of like apartment, and she gets upgraded to the penthouse apartment. And she's like, okay, that's weird that I was upgraded when I don't have like the money for this. And they were like, oh no, it's fine, it's free of charge. So I guess the boyfriend's parents that are rich take care of Erica. They see her as like a daughter almost. And so they're the ones that like ended up paying for this penthouse. And she's always had a crush on her ex-boyfriend's older brother named Michael. But Michael has this secret that he doesn't, like, him and his friends have some sort of vengeance against Erica. And Erica doesn't know that it's him. And also, we don't know exactly why they're so tempted to destroy Erica's life. I don't understand what's going on with that aspect. Like, so far we haven't been told, so I really don't know. They just had this scene where, like, Michael takes Erica to, like, the underground catacombs where, like, people are doing, like, you know, adult things down there. And I'm just so confused as to, one, why Erica goes, and then two, why he took her. I'm just a little confused by the story. However, the smut is written very well. I really like the smut in the book. Other than that, though, I'm genuinely confused to what's going on. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to like this one. Because as of right now, it's just like, I don't know. So we'll see. It's looking like a 3-star right now. 2 to 3 star. Alright, you guys, so I am here with my final review on Corrupt because honestly, I got about 65% into this book and I'm DNFing it. I can't. I really tried to give it the benefit of the doubt, but it was just so, like, I couldn't stand anything of it. First of all, the main character, right? We're following our main character. I even forgot her name. Erica, but they call her Rika. And literally every character in this whole book is so immature. Even the, like, main love interest is so immature. And, like, I get it. They're supposed to be in college, but don't act like toddlers. Don't act like middle schoolers. Don't act like teenagers. Do you get what I mean? Like, I just didn't like it. And then, but I tried sticking it out to see if maybe it would get better. But then I got to the part where Erica, our main character, is 16 years old. And the other character is an adult. And after that, I was like, nope, can't do it. I just can't. I can't. So I'm officially DNFing this. Hard DNF. I'm never going back to this again. This sucked horribly. No. I tried 60% in. So I gave it a shot. It was crap. I'm sorry. It was crap. Like, I didn't know. There was not one single thing I enjoyed about this. Not one single thing. I'm sorry. Nothing. Hey guys, I'm here with my final review for There Are No Saints. I don't even think I gave you guys an update for this book because, to be honest, I finished it in like a day. Because it was so short. Not because it was like, oh my gosh, I had to finish it. What I did like about this though is I listened to the audiobook for this, and the audiobook on my 2.0 speed was like 4 hours. So I was like listening to it at the gym. I was listening to it while I was driving. I was listening to it while I was doing chores around the house. So pretty much it was it was a very fast read. But in this book, we are following our main character. Her name is Mara, and Mara is an artist in like college, and she doesn't really have any money, right? But she always has done artistry, like art mural. She has done art pieces, right? But she never really thought about how serious she would be able to take her career. She's like, oh, I've always done this as a hobby. I don't know about doing it for, to make money. But it turns out she's very talented, and she gets the opportunity to make a mural and get accepted into something grand, right? So she ends up creating this mural, and she gets accepted into this amazing thing, right? And then her artwork, she realizes that she's a lot more capable than she initially thought she was. At the same time, she's very badass. And she also has never had any money. So, she's used to like just living it, like just surviving, being on like survival mode all the time. She had a really messed up childhood, and then she gets the chance to live in an apartment for a very discounted price, a nice apartment, and she takes it. And one night she goes to this ball, right? She goes to this ball, and she ends up being kidnapped and then just thrown into the middle of the street like she's nothing, basically almost dying. And when she looks up, she sees this man, this beautiful man with soulless eyes, and he just looks at her, and then he just walks away. But she knows that it wasn't him that kidnapped her and left her for dead. She thinks it was somebody else, but the fact that this man just walked away, it just haunts her. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we follow our other main character, our male main character, and his name is Cole, and he is a serial unaliver. And he is also an artist, and he makes a lot of money. Like, this man is rich, okay? And he owns the apartment that Mara is living in now. And so one day, he has this guy that he's like, it was his mentor, and his name's like Alistair, and they're constantly like rivals and are like competing, but they're also competing behind the scenes because, they're both serial unalivers. And so one night Alistair sees Mara because he thinks that Cole had his eyes on Mara, and he's like, all right, then this is going to be my victim. And Alistair leaves Mara for Cole to see if Cole would do something with Mara. And he ends up not doing anything with Mara, and then Mara and Cole end up bumping together, and a relationship ensues. This book I finished it, right? And I finished it pretty quick. One thing I have to say is about, if you get this edition, I didn't realize that this edition has artwork, and it's so stunning and beautiful. I feel like if I read the physical, it might have been a higher rating for me, but I listened to the audio, but I really feel like I might have liked this more because I didn't realize that it had like art until I was about a little bit more than halfway through the book. I honestly really enjoyed I enjoyed the book. There were some scenes that were, the thing about me and about my thing with dark romance is that sometimes it can come off as, a lot of these males can come off as like misogynistic, and me being me and very like in my feminist feels it's very hard for me to enjoy male main characters like that. I don't know, it's just, it might be my trauma from like things that I dealt with in the past. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So I have a hard time dealing with those strong MMCs. Not strong. I don't want to say strong, but there's toxic masculinity MMCs. Not strong. That was the worst word for it. No. Toxic masculine MMCs. Cannot stand them. It's hard for me to like those MMCs. But when we literally have a very strong female main character that is able to combat that misogynistic MMC, I find that I kind of like that dynamic. And that's the dynamic between Mara and Cole. Cole, because he is pretty much think like Dexter, no emotions, right? But all of a sudden he feels emotions for Mara. He's like, oh, like, I'm going to control him. He's so used to getting his way. You know what I mean? He's so used to getting his way. He's a serial lifer. He has a lot of money. He's used to just getting what he wants. But so he thinks that he's going to be able to get what he wants with Mara and like just basically use her and toy with her. And Mara's like, I don't think so. So there's this one time where like Cole says something completely misogynistic and uncalled for. And he's like, yeah, I own you, blah, 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 blah. And then Mara was like, you know what? To prove a point to him, she literally does something so effed up to basically tell him, throw it in his face, like throw it in his face in a very effed up way that I was like, yes, good for her, that she's not his property and he cannot control her. She's very stubborn. Every time he tries to control her, she fights against it. And I really enjoyed that. I liked that dynamic a lot. A few flaws to this book is the misogynistic, mean male character, but I feel like that's very common among dark romances, which is my problem with dark romance, why I have a hard time liking dark romances. So I have to find more dark romances that don't feature a main male character like that, because I find that that's not my taste. Personally, like that's literally just my preference. Okay, like no judgment to anyone else. This is just literally me, and because of my traumas in the past, it's hard for me to like look past certain things. But like I said, no judgment to anybody else. It's just my preference. That being said, yeah, so I did like the characters. Well, that Mara specifically. I did like the plot, the overarching plot. The things that I was like, okay, whatever about was like how weird Cole was at certain points. That's what kind of like threw me off from the story. How weird Cole was, how he was a little bit perverted, actually very perverted, and like, and not like in a, oh my gosh, that's sexy kind of way, but in like a, that's kind of creepy. You know what I mean? Sort of way. Like you're kind of a creepazoid sort of way. And the setting of the college, it's so like, we see it in like every dark romance now. I'm like, oh my gosh, almost every dark romance other than like Lights Out that I've been reading, and Electric Idol, I guess. But like every other dark romance, even the ones that I look up online, most of them take place in colleges. And it's like, okay, come up with a more unique synopsis. I don't know. I'm debating whether I'm going to pick up the second one or not, just because I already know where it's going. I don't really have the interest to keep it going when there's other series that I'm more intrigued by than just, finishing off this one. So I might stop here. So I didn't DNF this, but I am DNFing the series. Because yes, it was good. It was okay. It's not going to be memorable for me. I gave it like a 3.25 stars, 3 stars. Yeah. So that's it. So out of 5 stars, I give it 3 out of 5 stars. So that's my final review for There Are No Saints. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the greatest book ever either. It was okay, but it's not going to be something that sticks out in my mind that I'm going to think about for years to come, or anything that's quite memorable. The concept was there. I really enjoyed the concept of this serial lifer and then this woman, this strong woman that's like kind of fighting back. But other than that, not too much else really held my interest. And believe it or not, but a lot of the spicy scenes I just kind of like forwarded. I was just like, all right, cut. Okay, we get it. But yeah, other than that, yes, 3 out of 5 stars. And yeah, it was okay. It was pretty good. So that's my final review for There Are No Saints. Let's talk about these books, because I was so, it sucks because I literally had high hopes for all of these, and I only liked one. Okay? There Are No Saints was not bad, but it wasn't good. This was like a low 3 star for me, okay? Low, but it like a 3 star, but it barely made it. So I'm gonna go from bottom, worst rated, to the very top. So worst of the worst, Corrupt, DNF. Next was Lights Out. This was a 2 star. Next was There Are No Saints, very low 3 star. Also will not be continuing with the series. I just feel like life's too short. I'd rather read books that I know that I'm going to like than waste my time on a book that I'm just not sure I'm even gonna enjoy. And then last but certainly not least is Electric Idol, and this is definitely a book that I'm going to continue with the series. So at least I have shortened my list of series that I will be continuing, because I will not be continuing any of these series. But, so those are gone, those are out of the picture, but I will be continuing this one, so I'm very excited for this one. So anyways, you guys, that is it. Also, let's take a look at the tropes. Like, looking at the tropes, what do I like? I like girls that fight for themselves. But these two, the girls were a little bit like, I'm not gonna let you step all over me. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the serial unaliver aspect, which both of these do have. But I like when it's done to, I don't know, in a way to like protect the female. And like, yes, we like the enemies to lovers, but when it's downright like almost, you know the word that I'm looking for, that's when I'm like, nah, mm-mm. So those are the things that these two had in common that I feel like I enjoyed. So more powerful female main leads. This one also had that, but this was just too quick. Do not like the insta love. Do not like moving too fast. Do not like anything that's underage. But we do like our strong female characters. We do like male serial unalivers as long as they're healthy green flags. And I mean, I guess they can have red flag things, but don't be, we'll see, we'll see. Maybe another one will get to me where I'm like, questionable, but it works. I don't know. Like I said, because of my personal things that I went through in the past, it's very hard for me to like certain things when it comes to dark romance, just because of my own personal trauma. And that's not in offense to anyone. Like, anyone has, like, you're allowed to like whatever the heck you want. Like, that is fine. I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. It's just for me, and if you guys like that, like, good for you. That's awesome. But for me, because of my own like struggles, there's just certain things that I have to personally stay away from, things that trigger me, just me, that I know that I have to stay away from. So that's that. But anyways, you guys, that's my final, that's the ending. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am so sorry if you guys were hoping that I was gonna like dark romance and be like, yes, dark romance, all of these. I really wanted to. Believe me when I say that I want to like dark romance, I really do. I really do. Morally gray MCs, love. Morally black to the point where they're just walking red flags and doing really messed up things to the FMC, again, triggering for me. So it's, I can't get over it. I can't. But that's just my thing. So I guess we'll stay away from from triggering my trauma. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I'm sorry. Like, make sure, go to therapy. Because I'm definitely doing it now. But yeah. And now I know what to stay away from. Now I know what I want more of. And yeah, we found some things out. So we're getting there, you guys. We're getting there. I really want to like this genre. I really do. Yeah. But other than that, I will be unhauling a few of these. Probably just keeping electric idle. And there's that. So anyways, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you guys so much for hitting that subscribe button and turning on that notification bell. If you guys haven't yet, please be sure to do that. Also hit that thumbs up button because it really helps out my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!